Hello, GRCSU, and welcome to another Wednesday of Coffee with Coaches. And we all hope that you had an amazing break last week. It started out sort of warm and nice, and then turned out cold and rainy and not so nice. But hope you all had a great break. And we have been so lucky lately having all these wonderful, amazing guests. And today our guest is Patty Ryan, and she is from Proctor High School, and she teaches math. Is that right, Patty? Did I get that right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. And she is going to talk to us today about EquatIO. Take it away.
Okay. EquatIO is an equation editor that works on the Google Apps. It allows students to speak, draw, or type directly into their device. This was highlighted to me during a summer professional development that I had taken, and knowing that I had students who really don't like to write and show their work, which makes it difficult to deal with misconceptions because you can't identify them in their writing. I also have students who are somewhat perfectionists where the letters that they're writing or numbers might not be the same height. So let me go back and erase it and spend a tremendous amount of time getting that issue dealt with. And then I had, or will be having students who can't seem to locate their work the following day. They put it into a binder or a backpack or lockers when we were using them, and they can never find it. It just seems to disappear. And with the push for us to go digital, having experienced this or been introduced to it, I felt this was going to be a good tool to maybe take care of some of these issues that I was having in the classroom. So with that, I applied for and was granted a 90-day pilot program, which I then decided to create digital notebooks. And I'm going to share this with you because this is where majority of my students use the EquatIO. And I think I can just hit this share button and share screen. Okay, share screen, and I want this one. Okay. So you should be seeing, it's called the Algebra 2 Classroom Digital Notebook. And up here is the icon for the EquatIO. And it looks like I have already pressed it. And you'll notice this band at the bottom of the page. Okay. We spend a great deal of time in this first section. And what this does is it allows us to, and I'm going to trash what I've been fooling around with. It allows us to directly type in the problems that we might want to be dealing with. So in this case, I'm going to solve or try to work on the problem x minus 6 plus 7 equals 2. And I don't know if you can see that or if I need to make my screen bigger. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Looks good.
Then what I would have the students do is solve this, and it's very easy to manipulate because we know that we have, did I miss an X in there? Yes. I should have X minus 6, 7X. Sorry, I didn't put the X in. But see, because I made that mistake, it was easy to go back and fix it. We didn't have to cross anything out. We didn't have to erase anything. We just went in. So now they can combine it. And I come up with our 7x and our x, which gives me 8x minus 6 equals 2. Now they also know that we want to get the variable to the other, the constant to the other side. So I need to add 6. And again, notice I'm going into that side. At least I thought I was. Okay, and to the other side, and I'm adding 6. I can then drop down, and I'm left with, what am I left with? 8x. 8x is equal to 8. The other thing too is it kind of gets them to realize that I have to use parentheses to show that I want to divide, and I'm dividing that whole quantity. So I have to put parentheses around it. Oop. Did I just get rid of my 8?
Oh.
8, and then if I come over here, and I'm not sure, I have to go back and fix my parenthesis here to take that out, and over here as well. Oh. I'm doing this at an angle, which isn't helping me. But you get the idea.
You're doing great.
Then once I have this done, I want to get it into my Google document. So I'm going to hit over here. There are some buttons here. I'm going to hit the edit math. I'm sorry, the insert math. And here it is up here. Okay. And I can make it a little bit bigger. I normally have the students put a text box to identify what problems we're doing. Okay, now once we put it in there and we look at it and decide that we've made a mistake, we can just go click on it and over here, edit math. And it will bring it back down for me to make changes to it. Okay. You also can change the color, which is right here. Oh, I have to do it down here, I believe. Text color. Okay. Oh, that really wasn't a good choice. And again, I can insert it. And here we are with it. So it's kind of nice to change the color if we're going to put a variety of problems on one page. Okay. The other components to this, this particular item I have not spent any time on. This one is great, especially if they're doing lab reports, because if you have to put a graph into your lab report, here if I want to do y equals 5x plus 4, here's our graph. If I hit insert graph, here it is, right into your document. Okay. And again, you can go in and edit it. I can also add a text box to identify that it's a graph of a straight line. The next one, this one here, I'm going to clear this out. Is that if I, see if it will allow me to do this, 6 plus 5, and I don't know if some of the other schools might have the touch screens that they're able to write right on the screen. If you notice what I've written here is showing up here, printed in text. If I hit insert, it puts it right up into the document, which kind of makes it a little bit easier to check the child's work because it's a little bit easier to read on it. The next one here, and I'm going to clear some of this out, is if I click here and then click here, 5 plus 4 equals 9. Notice I spoke, and here it is. And again, we can insert it up into our document. And I'm just going to close this down so we can see where it is. Okay, now it's down here, and I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger so that we can see it. Okay. The next item is the mobile one. And excuse me, what happens here is it also allows us the flexibility, because I do have some students who prefer the paper and pencil method. Okay, so here you have their work on a piece of paper, but I'd like it in the digital notebook because then I know where everything is. And this particular feature allows you to use your cell phone to take a picture of their work, and it will insert it again right into the document. So the kids kind of find that kind of cool. So again, we're adjusting to what works best for each student with getting their work into my site. This particular icon here, and I haven't spent a lot of time in this site, but this is where if you wanted to create your own worksheet, or you have a favorite worksheet that you want the students to be able to use the EquatIO on, this is where you would put it in. And again, you would load it through your camera, and it's similar to like Publisher, where you have to send it to the background. And once you send it to the background, you can then go in and have them fill in the blanks using text boxes, or again, the EquatIO, and insert math to the document. And again, there are other features. This feature up here allows you to take it if it's already in your drive or in another type of file, to load it into this site. And I'm anxious to hear what the representative, when we have our training session, because I believe with the implementation of this, it comes with so many hours of in-service. So it would be interesting to see how this, what all the features are for this component of it. The other item I'd like to bring up is sometimes I do the work digitally, like for instance, a scavenger hunts. I'm not able to have the students get out of their seat and go from this sheet to that sheet. So I took that activity and created it into a slide. And in this particular case, I have my directions where they're to choose whichever slide they'd like and bring it up to the third spot. And again, if I want them, in this case, they had to show their work. So we can go into this section. They can give me their work, insert it. And if I close this down, it's right up in this corner here. They can bring it down. And here I have the work associated with each slide. So again, when I go into to verify the work, I have it here for it. This particular one here, and I'm going to find it doesn't work on all of the slides. I have found that it works on the ones that have very little text to it. See if I can get one. Okay, like here. So for instance, if I click here and come and highlight this.
What is the measure of angle T?
Okay. Unfortunately, like I've tried it with this particular slide here. Oh, I have to get rid of it. Okay. That one it would work with. That one it would. This one, for some reason, I think it's because the amount of text that's on here. You just get so again, it's varied based on the amount of text that's on there. The last little feature that's here, this is our STEM. So you have your periodic table. You have your calculator, which stays on the screen. So again, they're not flipping from tab to tab. And this, I believe, is the Desmos scientific calculator, which is tied into the graphing component here, which is done by Desmos. And then we have this I'm not familiar with, but I'm sure our science teachers are molecular viewer. Okay, so there is this science component to it. And that would be it in a very quick, I don't know, 14 minutes.
Yeah.
So it does have a lot of uses, and I'm very anxious to really dive into some of the other components that I haven't been able to use with it.
So you've had some experience using this in the classroom this year. How long How long did it take your students to get used to it?
I would say maybe about a week, but they're always getting used to it because there is a feature that I didn't show you, and I'm going to go back to my notebook and show this to you. For instance, I'm going to trash this portion of it. If we were doing the quadratic formula to solve, if I type in QUAD, notice it comes up here, and here it's brought in. I found this helpful because to just reinforce substitution, that if they're going to solve this, I would have them identify A, B, and C, use the definition again, and then go in and actually replace the letters with the numbers that they identified in the problem. It's also when you use, like if I wanted to do x squared, here's my x, I would do SQ, and now I have a choice. Do I want to square it? Do I want the square root of it? And it will take care of that as well. So that's a nice feature to it, and they've caught on to that. So each time we come across a different math skill or term, it takes a little bit of time for them to get used to it. We are working on, one group is working on sign. And again, you have the definition. So it kind of helps them when they're going to solve the problem. And I believe you can identify the ones that you're actually in love with that you use very frequently to come up a little faster. But I like that component of it as well. So.
Very nice.
So Al, I guess to answer your question, they got accustomed to it relatively quickly until I throw a new skill or term in there. And then it takes a little bit of time to just get that to be part of our bank.
Well, but that's okay. That's what learning is.
Great.
It's awesome. So we did get a question from one of our viewers. Madison was asking, how do you find that you use it the most?
If they're referring to this bottom portion down here, I'm using this section the most. I use it a lot. I offer it to the students to use it, I would say almost every day that we use it. And again, I do have some students who would rather do it on paper, but they can also get it in to their digital notebook. So again, it's kind of flexible and kind of uses whatever is most comfortable for the students to get their work completed.
Very cool. Do you have any students that are actually using the speech to text feature on a regular basis? I
No.
see it's there and you demonstrate it, but nobody's really using it.
Right. And I don't know, on a few occasions we've tried it, and I don't know if that's something tied into the Chromebooks, if there's a setting in there, but we haven't used it a lot. And I think the few times that we went to try it, we weren't as successful as I would like it to be. And again, that's something for when we have the webinar to try when that person is with us to say, okay, why isn't this working the way it's supposed to work? I found that same issue with when I are having the students put their paperwork into the document. You have a choice of either putting it in as math or putting it in as an image. On the few occasions we've tried the math link, it didn't work. We always have to do it as an image. So again, I don't know what it is that we're doing wrong or why we're having that issue. But again, there is tech support, and I just haven't reached out to them.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be great to find out, because I see this as a great differentiation tool too, being able to actually use the text to speech feature, or those that have the who have touchscreens. It'd be great for them too to be able to just handwrite it, because sometimes that's easier than typing. There's lots of options in this one program that's amazing.
Yep.
Whoever thought you could type math?
Right. Right. I mean, I don't know how many years I was dreading having exams because you wanted them printed, and it would take hours to get, 4 or 5 problems on a page. And this is so much easier. So much easier.
Well, I'm thinking about all those teachers too that were looking for something. I know that I had conversations, and Al, you might have as well, but middle school math teachers were looking for something this year. And I think Cami was a conversation that had come up, but this is something that is now available to our entire SU. And it seems like it would do the job without having to convert things to PDFs if you're creating stuff in Drive.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, that's great. Awesome.
And think about how nicely it aligns with all that UDL work that we've been doing too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and this can be used at all grade levels, right?
Oh.
You teach high school, Patty, but I'm thinking, even elementary, there's kiddos that this might be easier for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
And of course, again, here you have your text, told you the color and our garbage can. So, I mean, you can get a little creative with it if you'd like. The kids thought it was cool that they could change the colors of each of the problems. I was grateful they did it because it made it much easier for me to sort the problems out. And again, they liked the fact that if they made an error, they didn't have to start back rewriting everything, and the paper, you didn't get all the crossing out, and okay, give me a roadmap to where I'm going from one problem to the next because of the corrections that were made or the crossing out. So I happen to like it.
So Lisa asked, what do you think would be the simplest place for a teacher to start using this platform?
I don't know, because if you're looking at a younger grade, I don't know if they're using the bridges and what the components are to that, if that's all done through a workbook. So I'm not sure how I would answer that. For me, because I created my own house, the digital notebooks, where I have a place to put all of that work. And I was able to convert some of the handouts that I normally would have had to slides. I would be starting, and I did with this section here on it. So I guess it depends on how easy it is to convert whatever they're doing into a digital mode. But
Patty,
this
does this work with a PDF? Like, could you pull up a PDF and use this and have it insert an image on a PDF, or you would have to go to the little cube there?
I believe this one is where you would do that. I, unfortunately, on my school computer, I do not have a lot of files that have my PDFs on, so I couldn't test it here. But up here, if you go here, this is where you can import them, and these are the different ones that they'll use to accept. Okay.
I do know, thinking about the younger grades, or at least the schools that are using Bridges, Bridges has made a lot of their stuff available, and it's Google friendly. So
Okay.
I think that this would work nicely for some of the younger grades as well. I don't know about CPM now.
Yeah.
CPM, we have, we'll reuse the digital book, and I haven't been able to copy those photos to bring them over yet. I'm sure there's a way, I just haven't really had the time to come across that. But they're not Google friendly.
Yeah.
So,
So looking at this screen, it looks like it supports putting images on a page. And then you could put text boxes over it using EquatIO. So I would think if you had a PDF, you could load it as a JPEG file into a Google slide and then add your math over the top of it.
Yeah.
So very good.
It's exciting to get all these new tools, especially for this year, but I think in the future too.
Agreed.
Well, I'm pretty excited about this one myself because it's hard to find a good math editor. And this looks like a really good math editor. So,
like I said, it works for me. So
That's awesome.
it seems to be working for my students to whatever capacity they choose to use it. It also makes my life a little bit easier. I'm not inundated with how many different pieces of work shared back to me. I just go into their notebooks and there it is. So.
That's great. And no crumpled up papers in the bottom of the locker.
Right. Or gee, it's now June. I forgot to hand this in January. Will you take it?
Right. Oh man. Oh, this was so fantastic. Thank you so much, Patty, for taking your time and showing us EquatIO and all the cool things that it can do. And Lisa says thank you as well for showing this to us.
You're welcome.
Thank
Hopefully people will enjoy it as much as I have, and that there's success for the students as well with it.
I bet they will. Great. Thank you.
thank you very much.
Bye, everyone. We'll see you next week.